no monarch butterfly alive today has ever completed the full migration. And yet, somehow, they all know exactly where to go. Somewhere in the high forests of Michoacan, Mexico, the air grows thick with wings. Millions upon millions of monarch butterflies cluster on oyamel fir trees, their wings folded like copper coins stacked against the winter cold. But these butterflies, the ones clinging to the bark in February, they have never been to Mexico before. Their grandparents were born here. Their great-grandparents too. And yet, without a map, without a guide who remembers, they have found their way home across 3,000 miles of continent. This is not the story of one butterfly. This is the story of four. 4 lives, 4 generations, unfolding across a continent over the span of 8 months. A relay race written into their bodies, passed down in ways scientists are still learning to read. And it begins, as so many journeys do, with a question that nobody could answer until very recently. How does a creature with a brain smaller than a grain of rice remember a route it has never traveled? August, somewhere in southern Canada. The first generation of the year, the ones born in spring, have already lived their short lives and died. But before they did, they laid eggs. And from those eggs, a new wave of monarchs has emerged into the late summer heat. These butterflies, the third generation, are different from their parents in a way that's almost invisible to the eye. They're slightly larger. Their wings are a touch darker. And crucially, their bodies are wired differently. These third-generation monarchs possess something their parents and grandparents never had, a biological imperative to migrate. Their bodies are storing fat in ways the earlier generations never did. Their metabolisms are shifting. They are preparing, though they don't know it yet, for a journey that will last 8 months, nearly their entire lifespan. The shorter day length triggers something ancient in their nervous system, something encoded so deeply that no single butterfly needs to understand it. September arrives, and now, for the first time in the year cycle, something remarkable happens. Millions of these third-generation monarchs begin to move. They don't wait for their parents, they can't, because their parents are long dead, and yet they orient themselves with precision toward the southwest. Toward Mexico. Toward a place none of them have ever seen, guided by the angle of the sun, by the Earth's magnetic field, by sensory organs we're only beginning to understand. What the butterflies don't know, what they couldn't possibly know, is that the journey ahead will test them in ways their ancestors faced, but in a world that has changed. The milkweed plants that once dotted the American countryside, their only food source as caterpillars, have vanished from millions of acres. The climate is shifting. The windows of weather that once reliably guided them are becoming unpredictable. And yet, they fly. October, 6 weeks into the migration. The monarchs have traveled through the Great Plains, crossing states and time zones, their wings growing tattered from the constant movement. They stop only to feed on the nectar of wildflowers, flowers that in earlier generations grew in abundance. This year, many are scarce. Some butterflies don't find enough. They weaken, they fall. But millions continue, driven by something that feels like memory, though it cannot be memory, because they've never lived this before. Here's what scientists have discovered. The monarchs navigate using a combination of tools that seem almost impossible for such a small creature to possess. They read the sun's position like a compass. They sense magnetic fields. They follow visual landmarks, mountain ranges, river valleys, the shape of the land itself. But more than that, they're following something genetic. A map written in their DNA, refined over thousands of generations of migration. A code that says, fly this direction, rest here, fly again. November. The monarchs have crossed the border into Mexico. The air is cooling. The days are growing shorter, and now something shifts in their behavior. They begin to slow. They cluster together, conserving energy in the high-altitude forests where the temperature rarely rises above 50 degrees. Here, in these sacred groves that the local Michoacan people have protected for generations, they will wait. They will rest. They will survive on the nectar they've stored, moving as little as possible. But they're not waiting for spring to arrive. They're waiting for something more specific. They're waiting for the right day, the right temperature, the right alignment of conditions that will trigger something in their bodies. Because these monarchs, the ones who made the journey, they have one final task. They must mate, they must lay eggs, and they must do it before they die so that the cycle can begin again. February arrives. The overwintering monarchs, the ones who made the impossible journey, begin to stir. The days are longer now, the forest is warming, and in a moment that mirrors the beginning of this entire cycle, they mate. A female lays her eggs on milkweed plants, hundreds of eggs, thousands across the entire population. These eggs will hatch into caterpillars that know nothing of migration. Their lives will be short and simple. These first-generation monarchs of spring will emerge in April. They'll live only 6 weeks. They'll fly north, not south, spreading out across Mexico and into the southern United States. They'll lay eggs, and then they'll die, their purpose fulfilled, their part of the relay complete. Their offspring, the second generation, will be born in May and June. They too will live 6 weeks. They'll continue the northward push. They'll lay eggs in the American heartland, and then they'll die. By August, when the third generation emerges, the one that will face the long migration, they will have never known their great-grandparents. They will have never been taught. And yet, when the days grow short and the air cools, something in their bodies will know. They will fly south. They will navigate by the sun and the stars and the magnetic pull of the Earth itself. And if they survive the journey, if they make it to Mexico, they will have completed something that no single butterfly has ever done before. This is why the question is so profound. How does a creature remember a journey it has never taken? The answer isn't memory in the way we understand it. It's something deeper. It's evolution itself, compressed into a body barely larger than a postage stamp. It's millions of years of trial and error, of natural selection, of survival, encoded into genes and instincts and sensory systems that science is still working to fully comprehend. And perhaps most beautifully, this entire cycle, this multi-generational relay that spans a continent, depends on the survival of a single plant, the milkweed. Without it, there are no caterpillars. Without caterpillars, there are no butterflies. Without butterflies, the cycle breaks. The thread that connects Mexico to Canada, spring to fall, birth to death, is thinner than we often realize. It's a single plant and millions of creatures betting their lives on its presence, season after season, generation after generation. The monarchs teach us something quiet but essential, that the most extraordinary journeys are often invisible to us. They happen in the space between seasons, in the bodies of creatures too small to notice, in the turning of a year we pass through without understanding. And yet, if we pause and listen, if we look closely at the orange and black wings that flutter past our windows in autumn, we're witnessing one of nature's most perfect mysteries. A mystery that asks nothing of us, except that we protect the plants they need and the corridors they travel through. So the next time you see a monarch butterfly, know that you're witnessing the final chapter of a story written in migration, in DNA, in the collective memory of a species. A story that no single creature will ever fully know, but that all of them together will never forget. It's a journey that asks us, gently, to remember that we are part of a much larger world, a world where the smallest lives contain the greatest mysteries. Subscribe for more journeys through nature's quiet wonders, stories that unfold in real time, waiting for us to slow down and listen.